One word to describe Palomar would be awesome.
Difficult.
Intense.
Beneficial.
Challenging, but for good reasons. I like the fact that it's challenging. I think all of us that go through this paramedic academy, just with our attitudes and stuff, we kind of strive off of stress, off challenging situations. I think I do better under pressure, and Palomar definitely offers that. And then the brotherhood that you get with all your classmates during the academy. I mean, we're not just students, we're not just interns, but over the 9-month academy, we're family and we're brothers and sisters.
I wanted to be a firefighter paramedic because it is an exciting job. It is not the same thing every day. You're working outside. It's a very physically demanding job, so you get to do a whole lot of things, and you get to be with the public and be a role model for younger kids. You get to see people be healed, and that's what being a paramedic is all about.
It's really getting out there and making a difference in people's lives. And it's not just saving lives, it's even those calls where people just need the emotional help. When you go through Palomar College, you get a lot of hands-on education, not just sitting in a classroom and looking and learning. I'd say almost every day you have an opportunity to get hands-on experience, and I think that's what really molds and gets you ready. It just seems like you can tell right away who's gone through Palomar and who's gone to other schools for their education.
I just love the idea of firefighters being able to do emergency medicine, because it was just being able to do everything a doctor does, but you're still being able to do firefighting. The thing that students need to realize when they're getting into this, it opens up paramedic school, successfully completing that, opens doors to lots of different adventures for you. It's not just transporting patients to the emergency room every day. You can get into SWAT medicine, special operations medicine, rescue specialists, helicopter operations. All these things that you can do all require that certification of having a paramedic, because it's such a valuable asset and a valuable tool to the emergency services. Well, we basically divide it into 3 different sections, and the first section is didactic.
Didactic is the classroom portion of the class, where it's actually you're in the classroom, you're doing your book learning, you're doing your simulations, things like that. It's prior to going out and really doing anything in the field.
You come in and it's a full day, 8-hour class. Very next day you can have 2-3 quizzes.
On an average Monday morning, you'd get up probably at 6:30. Get ready for school, and while you're getting ready, you're studying flashcards, studying your protocol book.
And that's about 416 hours of classroom training. But we don't do it all here. We do quite a bit of it here, but we have guest lecturers. For example, we have physicians from Palomar Medical Center, UCSD, Children's, also lecturing during that time. We also take the students during that didactic time down to the different facilities. For example, we do an autopsy lab at the coroner's office, and we do Children's Day down at Children's Hospital, and we'll do a cadaver lab down at UCSD Medical School. So we're constantly offering students the best of the best in the field. And then the second phase they go into is the clinical, which is actually probably the most fun for the students. They do about 171 hours of training, and they'll go through all the different departments of the hospital. They'll deliver babies in the OB and OR. They'll do surgeries or assist intubations in the OR. They'll work in the emergency room. They go through all different phases. It's a chance for them to use everything they've learned, and skills-wise and also didactic-wise, and actually apply it hands-on with actual patients in front of them. Then the third step is probably the most challenging, and that's the field setting.
You've gone so far, made it through so many tests and so many simulations, gone through the hospital, you're finally at a point where you're able to go out and treat patients and actually work as a paramedic. And because it's different every day, that's one of the great things about the job, but it's also one of the very stressful things about being an intern, because you walk into situations that you've never been in before.
Once they've gone through didactic and they've gone through clinical and they've had practical application in a controlled setting in the clinical, and they move to the field internship, they have to maintain control of an extremely uncontrolled situation in the field of medicine and pre-hospital. They are required to be a leader on the scene. They are required to take full control of the patient's emergency and exude confidence. They're required to think on their feet at 2 a.m. just as clearly as they can think on their feet at 10 a.m. or at noon.
The ideal EME student would have a good attitude, would work hard to learn their craft, and they would come in with a humble attitude wanting to learn.
I think it's one that is a quick thinker. I think it's somebody who has to be physically fit. I think it's somebody that is more dynamic personality, somebody that is very aggressive, kind of loud, kind of a shouter, but one is easy that when you walk into a room that has that element of leadership to them naturally. And I think those are the type of students that do well in the field and successfully complete the program.
It's somebody who needs to learn from their questions as well and be able to be mature enough to ask that, not be afraid. So it's someone who can take the feedback and learn from it and continue on with the progress in their education and learning the things that we're teaching.
I'd say paramedic school is probably a 6-day-a-week job for 9 months, every single day. It's definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's definitely doable. As long as you're willing to commit to studying and you're willing to learn and take constructive criticism well and learn from your mistakes and give it 100%, it's doable.